he's not going to second guess it, and especially in opens, he's going to have a strong start here. But where can Reed improve, Gun? Where can he get better so he could actually, not only, win the whole thing, but consistently do it?
Man, I don't know that there's much more mechanically he could do to get better. We saw him perform.
I mean, we're talking about only missing out from the first place, 13 points. Of course, Demon Spec, aka Sentinel's Aspect, came out on top with number 1, went full demon mode. But yeah, you're seeing Reed right now. Probably the hottest. And again, Chad, if this is your first time here watching Dreamhack Open in the heats, it's basically a viewing party. As I mentioned, we're kind of jumping in between streams. You're not going to hear game audio. You're just going to hear our voice, and we're just vibing with you in the chat and having a good time. And someone in the chat says keybinds. Hey,
with the combination of his ability to build quickly, box up players, and then the consistent shotgun aim is amazing. And last week, he became a fan favorite. Like, you may have not known Reet before last week, but if you don't now, you're way behind. You need to figure out this guy because he's jumping in boxes just like that and popping people in the face.
Yeah, Reed has been competing in the FNCS trios with Macon and Dog. Also buddied up with Wavy Jacob, another infamous, or not infamous, more famous aggressive player in the region. But hey, with something we have to talk about, you're seeing the plays here, ladies and gentlemen. One thing we have to talk about is that he's going to be off ping, Gun. So all this kind of stuff, yeah, you could be totally aggressive and whatnot, but once the lobbies get a little bit, as we like to say here, stackier, that's something to think about in the back of his mind. But I don't think it's going to affect him here today in the opens.
Nah, opens, he should be chilling. Even through semis, he should be fine. But to try and do this play style against the best players in the opens as he drops another one.
Target acquired. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. You got to do this in the opens. Historically, we've been seeing in Dreamhack, especially this time around in Chapter 2, Season 4, is that you got to win Victory Royales in double digits. You can't have what I like to say, a soft Victory Royale. You can't just get the win with like 2 elims and thinking like, oh, that's going to be enough to qualify. No, you're going to have to drop a double, like a 10 bomb and the Victory Royale. And that is what he's doing right now. He's already at 15 eliminations and he has about 6 other enemies left to go. So we might see a possible 20 to start off the broadcast today.
That would be crazy considering there's only a few players left in this lobby. He's going to have to get to everyone before they find one another. And we see it. He's sure as heck trying. Another player in his sights. He's looking for multiple elims to finish this game. I love this play style out of Reet because it just doesn't stop. But he does put himself in circumstances like that where you have the ability to quickly lose a fight. You can 200 pump someone and sometimes it turns around back on you.
He hasn't got that win yet, but we know he's due for one. You know what I mean, Gun? He is bound to happen soon.
Clix is such like a hot and cold player to me. When he's hot, he's the best player in the lobby, hands down. But then sometimes he has off days, and I want to see him put it together throughout an entire tournament. Opens, semis,
and then when to go full throttle. And I think Clix could totally do that as well going into the rest of the Dreamhack Open.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think he needs to change anything within his play style. It's just the consistency that we need to see in the finals rounds, right? Like all the mechanics are there. Like you just said, he plays with Bizzle. He's been coached by Bizzle during solo tournaments as well. He knows the game. It's just all about putting it together and doing it throughout multiple games. You can't win a tournament off of one game.
You could definitely set the tone, and you could, especially in this one as well, as you could kind of get half of the threshold that we need. Of course, we'll do our best to keep an eye on what that threshold will be, because again, the top 750 advance, and that's going to advance his point total just a little bit more, 128 points. So the top 750 advance here, you have this opportunity, and then a couple hours later you have Heat 2, again the top 750 advance from there, and then from then that top 1,500 compete in the semifinals on Thursday, and only 100 from that move on to the grand finals, which will happen that same day. But look at the mechanics. I mean, Clix is so famous for going 100-0 in box fights, and that in itself is a credible stat, Gun.
Oh yeah, it's pure skill that he just displays. And we see in Heat 1, players are going to be a lot more relaxed, definitely just pushing for more elims. And then Heat 2 comes and the pressure really dives in on you. You need to understand, okay, it's qual or I'm going home, quote unquote situation. And you need to be able, in Heat 2, if you don't make it through this first heat and qual in the first one, that's where the pressure's on. Everyone is under that same scrutiny and pressure to make it work. As we see Clix just going for high ground plays right as we're chilling. But it's really all about consistency, like I've talked about before. And I'd love to see most of these guys make it through Heat 1. But if they don't, hey, at least we get some more stackers in Heat 2 coming.
My favorite comment in the chat right now from Kentro1 says, no one said I was playing against Clix. Me out here. He's like, but in a win. Yeah, man, the sweat's going to be real. And so, hey, you got to get ready, man. You can't be afraid. Maybe you have a movie room. I don't know. A room with a bidet? Just strictly the bidet room? There's be one?
Well, all right, so 30 rooms, you think at least 6 have to be bathrooms. So we're down to like 25 bedrooms or so, right?
Wow, okay. All right, let me see. A workout room, okay.
All right, yeah.
A movie theater, yes. Kitchen. Oh, my goodness. And he gets bopped and sends right back out. As well as you have Vivid being on board again. That's an old school name making return to Fortnite. That's kind of crazy to think about. Seeing Chap and Vivid running again, old school mates from the Liquid days. But now we're seeing Chap here in the open with a pretty strong start already in the triple digits here, Gun.
This guy shows up and it's phenomenal to watch. One of the most exciting players, in my opinion, to see time and time again.
And I feel like this meta really works for Bugha as well. You know, there's not, I mean, when he got the World Cup, of course, there was baller and things like that. But his ability to kind of bind people, his mechanical skills are so much better. I bet you if you would definitely ask him, he would say the Bugha World Cup would lose to this version of Bugha, you know, knowing how advanced he is. And that's one thing as well is
some of these people, it's their career and job, but I can't wait to get back to LAN and just see how things turn out. You know, online tournaments are one thing, but LAN is where legends are made.
Absolutely, and this is what Bugha is doing with a nice legendary run, and this is impressive. The lobby is still not as crazy as it can be, but hey, it is not an accident if you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like you said so yourself. It's an educated guess, and the educated guesses comes from all those hours experience with a nice chop down right there, gonna bring this player down to the ground. And now it's a matter of fundamentals, having the high ground. He's literally picking on every single person that he can see in a moment's glance, and that's why you need to have the power of a strong shotgun blast. And the legendary pump gun, woo, that gun has some distance.
Nice. He's able to pick up a few more mats. That'll sustain his high ground play. And this is all his. Everyone's going back to the lobby. Bugha's going to clean this up. He has the mats to finish this out. Another Elim. See ya. Go back to the lobby and finish it off with a nice clean harpoon. Oh, look at that.
It's a victory royale, man. Bugha's doing it. Now you got to watch out. He's in full effect.
You know, just a little bit. You're so used to your shotgun firing off in a certain way, your build's going a certain way. He does find some mats out in the storm, and because he has that bandage cannon, he's going to be able to tank some storm. He trades it, but not for that has no shots left. So he was able to get one while it reloaded and then gets tagged up. Gonna continue to try and rotate in here. Not many players remaining, and those mats that we talked about went away quickly as Betty finishes it up, and you can see he's hyped.
Clix right now is not in shambles, and we're seeing that we're going over the grave, the Sentinel's graves, the big old robots from X-Men universe, and 160 right now. Gonna follow up again with a nice spray down with the AR. Now he's drawing the attention of the rest of the lobby here. May go ahead and try to dip in and see some very important intel, but at the same time, I think once we get to set lobbies, you definitely should have that off. You know, we want to know who's taking out who. Luckily, when we get to the semifinals and grand finals, that won't be a factor because we will have the spectator client and we'll get to see what's going down in the entire fight. And that's going to happen on Thursday. Of course, this is Heat 1. Heat 2 coming up very, very shortly. And I think Clix is very close to qualifying. The projection is 360. Yeah, he could basically crawl right here if he just closes out this match with the victory royale and continue to frag out.
We saw Bugha in a similar position on high ground, just beaming everyone that's in the lobby, punishing players for even peeking their head out. And now Clix is showing us he could do the exact same. Two of the top players in the world going at it, not head to head, but essentially in the same tournament, showing who can get the most points at the end of the day. I'm not sure it's really a huge competitive thing, but it's kind of like a point of pride. You want to finish at the top, and if you have the possibility to, why not, right? Go ahead, go for gold, as they say, and try and take it all.
And set up that Twitter post. Set up that Twitter post of that leaderboard, showing you with those dollar signs and those commas and all those zeros. That's all what's about as well. And when you perform really well in the Dreamhack, especially on have an opportunity to be on the broadcast, you get more social following, and that's gonna also set up your career. And we may not see people right now like like a high level player like Clix, but we may be seeing the beginnings of some new stars, not only in Fortnite, but you could take the success that you learn in Fortnite and apply it to future titles. And that's what I think is really exciting. For example, like Nick Merckx got his big start in the Gears of War. Imagine knowing, like, being in those kind of tournaments and watching tournaments or casting those tournaments for the MLG of Gears of War, knowing that you will cast over one of the biggest names in the world in gaming. That to me is always dope.
Yeah, I've never thought about that, and now you're making me smile back here as I'm thinking about, Clix is one of the best. We spectated Bugha, so lots of action. Clix cleans this up, making sure he gets that dub, and that's probably a qual for him, but that is beautifully played. If you want to take a look at how to play high ground, Arab just did it textbook style, staying above, not playing overly aggressive, staying on the backside, and then putting pressure on anyone that's going to contest you as another Elim comes through for Arab here. Textbook vision and creativity, using those bouncers, the shockwaves, all of his materials to get him onto high ground and keep it here.
I think what Arab did there is he went to height knowing that he could connect to the rest of this elevation. If he could make this connection right now, he's gonna have a strong foothold. And yes, actually the storm goes back the other way, so this is gonna be good for him, Gun. You know that once the storm kind of washes back over, the person at height, their stamina gets increased because they don't have to absorb any kind of builds right now. The only thing Arab has to keep his head on a swivel is just in case someone shockwaves up to his height. He's not on ultimate height, and he's in risk right now. I think he's gonna maybe look for a map refresh, but he's still very dangerous because he's only with soft mats. Chop everything down, and this is going to be a GG's, considering that he's now sitting on natural terrain and not having to worry about anything up. But it looks like a player is playing for height at the moment, is cranking his 90 so hard at the moment. And Arab now he's gonna, ooh, what a quick flick of the wrist in catching that play, and now he gets more materials, and this is the final 9th zone. So yes, there it is, a victory royale for Arab. We going from inside the mine to right out, but wow, Gun, and that may have got him qualification right then and there. I don't know what he finished with, but that looked good.
He did this without even having to really contest anybody. He recognized that height was free. He grabs it, takes position, and now he's chilling on high ground without really any issues. This game's going to be closed out by Clix, like we just saw Arab close it out. It's going to go off the side of this mountain a little bit. The players are now going down as we go back over to the other side, again going over some old builds. The lobby is slowing down and breaking down while Clix is building up and creating a greater story for himself.
And Clix popping off in the Dreamhack Opens, no stranger to that. The other question is, can he do it in the semifinals? Can he do it in the grand finals? Clix has been making himself get better and better, get into in-game situations. So he knows he can do it mechanically. He's been running with Bizzle. Bizzle, one of the best minds in Fortnite competitive. Anybody who's been casting or any person that watches the scene knows that he's very consistent. And if Clix can be very consistent and not so much hot and cold, but look at this, man. This is just a flex. This is just a flex, sir. You're just flexing. I'm just like, it's like watching someone juggle 300-pound weights and be like, hey, man, this is easy peasy. Look at that. Picks up an Elim through the storm, getting the siphon. Now a top 3 situation and going back over old builds, Gun. It's just a matter of time.
It's crazy because he probably doesn't even think that's difficult.
I know.
He's just doing that because he's like, oh, that's the easiest way to get down from here is flip a ramp backwards and continue moving forwards. 2 players remaining here. Clix is looking to close it out. He clearly wants to grab these Elims. He doesn't want anyone else to end this game besides himself. Those players down below fighting between one another. Clix looking to scoop this final Elim. 100 tag comes through. He's going to edit the zone, finishes up that Elim, and now Clix is focused on one remaining player. This poor guy is about to get beamed by Clix for the victory royale.
And not a surprise, NRG Clix up on top with 533 points. But right behind him, Ved in second place with 499. My new favorite player who we didn't even get to watch, Unicorn Girl 934. Yes,